Hey guys, welcome to our review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus. This is the finale. We have seen the final few episodes, and it's time to wrap it all up. Real quickly, did the series end up changing your minds?
No.
No, okay, so pretty much the same feeling that you had from our previous reviews.
Yeah.
And same thing with Alex. Okay. I think I really, really enjoyed the series. I think it wraps up in a satisfying way. It really does what it set out to do. Had a very good ending, some really great CGI, some good resolutions for the characters. Maybe not as much tension as I was hoping for, because I kind of knew, not a lot of these characters are going to die. There's not a lot of people at risk. I saw a lot of the plot points kind of telegraphed at who the supervisor really was and stuff like that. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's special within the Star Wars universe. It's certainly a lot better than the direction that Disney Star Wars has been going off in the wrong direction. Let's just be honest with each other. The Star Wars brand is damaged currently with
It's got doo-doo stains.
It's got some doo-doo stains on it. The Book of Boba Fett, the Acolyte, even Kenobi at times. I've just taken it as a joke, really, and a lot of pointless side things. And now you got this Acolyte with resolutions, unresolved situations, Plagueis and stuff.
Being a creep.
Really the worst of both worlds, right? Being a creep behind the rock and we'll never see him again, and it's like that's what we get with play. It just sucks, okay? Yeah. So it's refreshing to me to get a series that goes all in, full percent, and I hated shit like Mandalorian Season 3, Jack Black and Lizzo episode. Like, what the fuck are we doing? These are, pointless cameos playing themselves. But here with Skeleton Crew, Jude Law, this is a serious actor. He takes the role of Jod seriously. He transforms into this pirate. And in these last two episodes, I loved his hard turn into really a fucking asshole, just a bad guy. And it turns out that Jod, is Willy won't he does. He turns into a bad guy. And I'm appreciative of the fact that they didn't really do a redemption for him, at the end. I
thought they would, yeah.
I thought they would, and to then shove that in, there wouldn't have been enough time for that. So I like how they left it kind of raw and left it, mature. And when the pirates show up, they just all power to weapons start firing randomly amongst, suburbia. And I've had dreams like this. I think that sequence was so cool where the fucking barrier falls, and then you've got this huge ship coming through the clouds, and it's in like suburbia, and they just start blowing shit up. It's like an alien invasion. It was really, really cool. I've had dreams and nightmares like that when I was a little kid, walking home from school and stuff. So daydreaming that stuff. It was really cool, and ultimately I liked it. In the last two episodes, they give the kids some stuff to do. The kids kind of triumph and really inspire their parents who honestly are scared. And I think a lot of the themes is, like letting go. You can't always keep your children safe. You can't keep them contained in a bubble for their whole lives.
Kids like 10, 11, yeah, you have to keep them safe. You can't let them go out like that.
Yeah, so you can't always do it forever. And there's good people out in the world, and there's experiences out there that they need, and just opening it up. And I thought it was a great resolution. So I think this is one of the better Disney Plus's things. And it's good because, it really doesn't feel like Disney has a lot of Star Wars shows banked up. We already know Andor Season 2, and we know Ahsoka Season 2. But other than that, it feels like they're done.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't heard shit. Now, maybe there's going to be some big announcements in the future, D11 or D12 or whatever they're doing. But it feels like we're at the tail end. And I'm really glad that Skeleton Crew ended so well. and has a good message. This is a series that I think works equally well for children and for young adults and for older people. It's really hard to kind of, appeal to all audiences. I tried watching Young Jedi because I was making a list of Disney shows that Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and I wanted to rank them all. But Young Jedi Adventure season 1 and 2, adults can't watch it. It's basically something you can watch it, but it's something you throw on. Your kids are
You're
engaged.
pissing off all the people that I normally piss off.
Really?
Because there's someone at their keyboard right now that is
It's
slowly
real bad.
typing, hey, I like that show.
It's for 5-year-olds.
I'm 40.
And Star Wars Skeleton Crew, I really appreciate the maturity here. There's a few times where it goes a little darker and a little, I miss the old 80s and 90s stuff where, and it might have just been my parents that have let me watch some crazy ass shit. You know what I mean? But I
grew
think
up on
even
horror movies, terrible movies.
You grew up with horror movies. I like that
was
hard
great.
edge. Exposing children, and it doesn't always have to be bumblebees and cinnamon sticks and stuff, And so the Skeleton's Crew sprinkled that in here, and I was surprised because it is a Disney Plus show. But I think it ended really well, and I'll kind of break down exactly why in the last 2 episodes. Now that doesn't mean it doesn't have some flaws. I think there's some pacing issues. I think there's some believability issues, especially in episode 6 or 7. But other than that, I think it ends on the whole really well. What did you guys think of the finales?
I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I think they gave the kids a little more to do towards the end, but it was too little too late. But I did like John. I honestly felt like they should have made... Is he your favorite
character?
Oh, by far.
Oh, yeah.
They should have made Skeleton Crew more mature, like you were saying, and just focus on the pirates and John and his story and just what's going on and that and trying to look for treasure as opposed to the kids. Because that one was, honestly, the weakest point. Yeah, it did get better towards the end, but they gave him more to do in that little forced drama. I think it was on episode 6 or something with a ship. They try to get some.
Who's your second favorite character? Neil. I think
Steve Urkel.
It's me.
Steve Urkel.
What?
Steve Urkel's in
Oh, yeah.
He's in there.
I forgot the second in command. Joe, that was terrible. Steve Urkel was
Yeah.
terrible.
Me.
No, yeah, 'cause honestly,
SM3 he's the best.
That's a
The kids,
Neil
the
is
kids
3
are
for me.
fine. They don't really stand out to me though. They don't have the little presence or whatever as like the Goonies or Explorers or something like that.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do want Skeleton Crew, but more the pirate, less the kids, if that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I think the ending was pretty solid, and mainly it maybe it just appeared solid because I thought that the middle of the series was trash. There's some some garbage in the middle.
6.
There's some there's just not good stuff. And I think this is another time where this series suffers because there's so many. I don't know if it's different. How many hands in the kitchen, or what the hell is happening here with the writers and the directors and swapping back and forth. And so we didn't have a consistent tone. We didn't have consistent pacing. Things felt all over the place because it was all over the place. And I think that the kids weren't good. And I'm not talking about them acting. I'm talking about the way that they were written into the show. If we had Jod kidnaps a kid and we see the show and we're looking at pirates through the eyes of a child who they're trying to get to that thing, I think that formula would work significantly better because it puts what I'm interested in at least first and foremost. And instead we got what I'm interested in the least, which is uninteresting kids. Wim still sucks. I thought that they were going to try to do something where I was like, I like Wim. No, Wim still sucks. A lot of these kids aren't kids that I want to necessarily root for. Save Neil. I think he was pretty interesting. But the ending did pick it back up because it sagged. I started okay, and then I was like, I really don't like this show, and then it got better towards the end. So I did think that they stuck the landing. I'm hoping that this is Nah, I don't know what they're doing with Star Wars. Like you mentioned, there's not a lot of TV shows in Star Wars coming out. So is this a sign of things to come?
Is this a sign of Disney admitting that we need to slow down and figure things out?
Yeah.
Or have they just run out of ideas as well? I don't know. I hope so.
But they're not. The show is not doing well, or at least one thing I read said it was not doing well as far as views goes. And so maybe it's like I I don't know what they're going to do, but Star Wars is too big, too expensive of a brand for them not to be having a bunch of stuff, lined up.
Yeah, that would have been a better perspective, like Hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great.
So, Alex touched on it. I was going to bring that up next. Unfortunately, the news isn't good for Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It draws even lower viewership numbers than even The Acolyte. It debuted 382 million minutes watched for the 2-episode premiere.
But that's like the best TV show that was ever on Disney Plus, The Acolyte. That's what I read constantly, that how it was such a good show and that we were just trolls. And
382 million minutes. The figure 20% beneath Acolyte, which I think was 480, something like that. So unfortunately, I get the feeling, and it's a shame. I almost feel like Acolyte fucked it up, and people got atrophied, and they're done with kind of Star Wars and didn't come back. It kind of spells trouble for a potential season 2. Because this was done at a level, an excellent level in my opinion, you can learn from some of these things and do a season 2 and kind of take the feedback and make an even better show. I like Jod enough. I think the kids could shine in a season 2. I would be up for a season 2, but with those numbers, if Acolyte was canceled at those numbers, unless Skeleton Crew is considerably less expensive, and Disney wants to give it a final ending. But, by the end of Skeleton Crew, I said, this is cool. I'm okay with that.
One and done.
I do want to see Jod again. I think his story's fascinating, and I think there's still this small opportunity for a redemption. His face towards the end, I think ultimately he does like the kids enough. He doesn't want to kill and hurt anybody. You can see there's a moment where KB might be in danger, and you can see it in his face that he actually somewhat cares. And I think it's a compelling character. I would like to see more of Jod. But with those numbers, season 2, I wouldn't hold your breath. I think it's unlikely unless, Disney wants to do a lost leader and the execs really like the show and they want to do it. Because, frankly, I think Andor didn't do too well. And I was really surprised, and it was expensive. And I was really surprised that it got a season 2.
But that was a critical darling.
And it was critical success. This one, I think, is doing all right. Maybe not quite at the levels of Andor, despite a really loud and vocal anti-Andor crew. I don't know why people hate that. They just say it's so boring.
There were bricks.
Like
is that the one that people were mad that there was a brick or something in it?
I don't know, but I just mainly criticism I heard was the show is boring. It's like you just don't like good characters and good drama and setup. Like I don't understand. This one, I think it was good, and it's a shame that Star Wars viewership is down. I'm curious if this trend continues. If Andor season 2 premieres and it premieres badly, I guess that's fine because they didn't plan to do a season 3. So Andor season 2 were done, right? So really it doesn't matter the numbers that premieres at. But if Ahsoka season 2 premieres and it's at the same level of Ahsoka 1 or worse, then, they're in a real pickle. And I'm curious what project do you think could get Disney Plus Star Wars back on track and the viewership up? Do you think
Tales of Luke and Leia, and then we could have where she met Obi-Wan and she's getting chased around by those adults.
It's so good.
Please no. The Tales of Luke and
He's
Leia,
like
baby
hiding my
Luke and
trench
Leia.
coat.
Okay. No, that would be the opposite direction.
okay.
That would be even worse than
They need a big box
Skeleton
office.
Crew.
If they have a big box office hit, I think you can revitalize it that way. But I mean, it's like this is like all media. How fervently did you guys watch the Cowboys this year? If you allow me a jab,
I
little
stopped
more.
watching towards the end. Like,
But-
fuck that. Yeah, it's over.
So you constantly put up poor performances, and then you end up
And then you have piss poor management
and
who
you
does not want to
not
change.
listening to the
Not
fans,
listening to anything.
and then you constantly
you stop watching.
You stop
Had
watching,
to throw the
and
Cowboys in there too. Yeah.
Fucking, but he's right.
He's right.
That's why I didn't get mad at him.
Yeah, he's right. I don't want to watch it.
No, we're done.
It's a
I
shit
didn't watch
show.
the last
It's a shit
game
show.
of the season.
yeah, you're
Did you?
overpaying for all your stars.
fucking
and-
watch
I
it.
fucking watch it.
And I've been watching Cowboys since I was young. We haven't barely missed a game. That game we missed. 'Cause
Disappointment
we're like, whatever.
in Star Wars and in football. Well,
Yeah, okay, so, but, and upcoming Star Wars is broken right now. This was a small, bright spot towards the end. The Mandalorian movie, I don't think is going to be very good. I don't think it's going to re-energize Star Wars. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong. I'm wearing the Star Wars merch. I want to be wrong. I want, an Admiral Thrawn, kind of trilogy or whatever could be revitalized, but they've already fucked up his character.
Ruined Thrawn.
So unless they were going to do an about face and make him a badass and a completely different character, and people are like, that doesn't seem like they... Just shut up, we're fixing it now. And you're like, okay, I will be like, all right, fine.
I'm here, get over it.
Sabine is not a good character. They
Yeah,
did
I
not
don't like Sabine either.
portray her very well in the show.
So, I'm depressed. I'm a little bit depressed. But I know I really enjoyed the show, and I'm more depressed that not more people saw it, because I think that if more people saw it, they would enjoy it. It sounds like you guys enjoyed it. May not necessarily appeal to your target market and something you seek out, but you thought it was executed well enough.
I was whelmed. I was gruntled. It was fairly decent, partially positive. All those things where it's just like I didn't regret sitting down and watching it, because there's times where we sit down and watch things and I'm like, ugh, and it's a slog. And you're watching this and you're like, okay, I get that they're trying to do the Amblin thing. Yeah. Just for me, the formula is a little off, but I didn't hate my time with it at all.
Okay, let's go ahead and give season 1, or rather series, because I don't think there's a season 2. I would be more willing to get a season 2 of this than obviously, Boba Fett, Acolyte, any of the others. In fact, I'll rank this for you. For me, let me find the list here. Okay, so I think it goes Mandalorian, with the caveat that I'm talking about Mandalorian season 1 and the whole Mandalorian idea. That to me is top. Now, if you add in 2 and 3 seasons, that'll bring it down below Andor, because my next one is Andor, or Andor number 1, because it's just written so much better. The characters are so much more compelling. There's just better drama and tension. It just feels like a real universe there. So Mandalorian and Andor at the top. The next one, and it may be recency bias, but I'm going to put Skeleton Crew next. Because it's if we have this as a complete story, a nice little boom bam Amblin, throwback nostalgia, I'm down. Then Ahsoka, then Bad Batch, then Visions, then Tales of the Jedi, or Tales of the Empire. Empire kind of brings it down. Jedi brings it up. Kenobi after that. There's just it ruins some moments that I always had in my head that I thought were way cooler. What they ended up showing, and the whole Baby Leia stuff, and it just trench ridiculous coat. And the trench coat, and they gave Kenobi less money than they gave Acolyte.
Can't catch a little kid,
and they did you in dirty. Anyways, then all the Lego stuff, because there's a ton of Lego Star Wars, and they're all fun and watchable. Then Boba Fett, and then Acolyte at the bottom. And actually, I'd probably put Young Jedi even lower than Acolyte, because there's moments in Acolyte that I liked. Like I liked the Squid Games actor as the Jedi.
Some of the fight scenes were cool too.
Fight scenes were awesome. It just did damage to the brand and was so stupid. And the power of one, the power of two. The power of many. Annie.
No, his name's
Manny.
okay?
Young Jedi, just because
okay?
I can't really watch it. I tried to kind of go through it. It's just too for little babies. I thought it was cute, but not for me.
So hot.
So that's kind of my ranking. So ultimately, let me jump in. I'll go ahead and give the final rating for the series an 8 out of 10. I was between a 7 and an 8. If I go and look at the episodes, here's what I did. I had episode 1, 6 out of 10. Episode 2, 8. 3, 8. 4, 7. 5, 8. 6, 4. That's where it started to take a dump for me. 7, 8, and the finale
6,
8.
you said 4?
So I'm going to go 8. Yeah.
I'm going to go with a total of 6. It was above average. I honestly, the characters weren't very well developed. The kids didn't really stand out. I was hoping to have a little turn on them. Best one was John and the Pirates. I wanted to see more of that. the kids get into predicaments and Jod saves them. There's not a lot for the kids to do. It should have been a kid-focused thing, and they have to, like, episode 6, they kind of figured out stuff to do, and they had some little moments there. I think that should have been sprinkled out throughout the entire episode. So 6 for me.
Yeah, I think this is an average show. I think there's a lot to like, and I think there's a lot to dislike. I think the thing that I look back on is there are moments here that I dislike so much more passionately than the things that I do like. I will remember episode 4 of the Kids Soldier Planet and go, oh my God, I hate this so much more than I like anything else in the series. And I really like Jude Law. There were things that he did here. I just think that this was a mismanaged project. I felt exactly like you just said, that if the kids are centric, let the kids be the ones that figure stuff out. And episode 5, when they're in the thing and they're constantly presented with puzzles, and the kids have the opportunity to be the heroes and figure stuff out and have, from a kid's point of view, figure out how to die in acid, and he just goes, nah, I'm not going to do all this other stuff. And I think they just kept giving it to the wrong, having it be in the wrong direction. And so I think that it got some stuff right, it got some stuff wrong, but ultimately there's episodes like 4 and 6 that would have me constantly stay away from like a rewatch or an entire rewatch.
What was it rating?
5.
5. Ouch. Yeah, I have a different opinion. I thought it was a well-executed child adventure film with an interesting choice that the children are children, and they kind of act like children, and they're not necessarily little mini heroes. And I think by the end, I think you feel like they could have given them more up until the end, where they do give them some stuff. I think ultimately I'm okay with that choice, rather than having little Jedis running around and little geniuses and stuff that might have taken away from the fact that they were children acting like children and not necessarily heroes. Like Wim, I think we all agree Wim sucks. He doesn't do anything, but when you really look at it, it's like Wim learns a lot. And he learns that you don't really have to be some kind of saber-swinging Jedi in order to help people. There's other ways to help people. Sometimes just listening to people. When he listens to KB, and then towards the end, I think it was a great moment where he's looking up. He always. He was too whimsical, and he didn't know who the real good guys were. And by the end, he looks up at the X-Wings, and he smiles, and it's like in that moment, it's like, I think he knows Wim wants to help people, and maybe one day I'm going to be an X-Wing pilot, and that's how I'll help people. And so I just think there's a really good message here, and I liked the whimsical, adventurous kind of stuff, and in addition to the little bit of the danger, even though this series is lighthearted. I mean, look at Neil's design, this character design, this elephant boy, this Max Rebo. I appreciated mixing that in with danger and, the pirates, but ultimately, kind souls and working together and forming friendships wins the day. So that's what I like about Skeleton Crew. But I don't know if it matters because ain't nobody see it. So we'll see what is next for Star Wars.
Numbers don't lie.
And numbers don't lie. Andor. Well, I think Ahsoka kind of fucked it up, and Disney, in fact, kind of fucked it up. Right over time, they're like shedding viewers, like searching for target markets that aren't there, while ignoring their main target market. People are gonna drop off. Dallas Cowboy analogy was fucking perfect. This is terrible management, losing constant losses.
Long-time fans. Long-time fans. Is
yes,
like,
here and there, they're self-inflicted wounds, injuries, which makes the level of play even worse. Yeah. But not being able to pivot and react and put together a better product. Hopefully, they're doing that now behind the scenes, because really, other than the early Mandalorian stuff and Andor, there's really nothing holding it up.
The only person who can save Star Wars is Deion Sanders.
There you go. We need
Prime.
And bring his sons over as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So let's go into the episode breakdown. So episode 7, we're going to be in so much trouble.
6. We didn't do 6 together.
0 friends.
Okay, I was wondering
again.
whether we did 6. Go ahead. Somebody do 6.
It's called 0 Friends Again. They have escaped through the treasure hatch, and we have to see what happens. They end up on the beach, and there's a malfunctioning KB, and Jod gets captured by Pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And,
So, okay,
This is where I
actually,
feel like-
this is where I gave 4 out of 10. My fault. I thought it was way better than 4 out of 10. This upon first watching, I thought it was like the plot was being rushed and the believability was broken towards the end. But I think all the quiet scenes with KB and Wim and some of that where he's learning that brought it up a little bit. What were you going to say?
Yeah, this is the one where it's like there was more of the kids and kind of the kids doing stuff. But yes, it did feel rushed. And there was like forced drama. It's like, oh, you're going this way, you're going that way.
Forced drama, yeah.
It's like they're splitting up.
This is just to force the two to come back together to hug at the end.
Yeah. And
we need it, and we're not saying we don't want that to happen, because we do. We just need it in a more natural way.
That's an entire movie, not 20 minutes.
Exactly, because I didn't really feel like KB was being neglected by the captain. I forget what her name was. I didn't feel that tension or anything.
A person with disabilities, is trying to keep it to themselves and keep up with their friend and just make it as if nothing is wrong with them and happening with them. That's a powerful message.
It is, but they didn't really portray that enough throughout the episode until now. But like, it's already too late. You got a couple more episodes to go, and then the way they escape and everything is kind of
that was too much.
Whatever.
Like, believability gets broken, and
big time.
I wish they could have filmed it in a different. I'm going to jump in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like they don't die from the trap door. The X-wings run off the pilots, but no one goes for the treasure on the Spa planet. I don't believe in like the conflict between Fern and KB is what I wrote here. KB's an android. I did like that kind of scene, and like he's putting his hands in her fucking brains and shit and helping her out. But really, if this was a thing, you're not gonna have backups on there. He's able to like pour it in a hole and then make a new one and then put it there. I mean, it was a cool scene, but it feels like she would have had some backup plans. She's super smart, but the microfuse replacement process. It was kind of weird, but interesting. And then there's unbelievable stuff. Like, there's just this joystick on the roof of a tugboat ship.
Yeah.
Why would you ever build a joystick on the roof of a tugboat ship when they're towing their ship? They just fall on it and they can just control. It's just like written out, and then they control it. Well, don't they have to jump in the cockpit? There's a joystick on the top.
Yeah,
Shut
this
up.
is like I saw that. I was like, wait, did I miss something? I'll go back. It's like, no,
that's what
they're doing. Okay,
they love using the outside of ships now.
And then they like softly slide off of the tug ship, and so I guess they got good at falling.
They pick them up from the crab.
Right.
He's like, did I get him? He's like, yep.
And and then they reunite. You're my best friend. It's kind of overexcited because you're kind of knocked out of the moment a little bit, but you see what they're going for, and it's half executed well. There's Alex's rating. And then there's the trash compactor, so that just so happens to be there. Mere feet from consuming their crash-landed ship is just like, things are just happening because like
they need to happen.
They need to happen. It's a 5-minute, little show here, so it just kind of sucks. And then they fix the ship again by hitting it. There's that trope. And then the never touch button is exactly the thing that they need, revealing a sleeker ship underneath. Now, ultimately, upon reflection, I like the fact that, it was an Atten ship, and that's how it can get through the barrier, and they just built on top of it. Genius. Love it. Yeah. But just needing it at that moment, it happened at that moment, it's like, if we had better setup instead of it just so happening to be next to a trash compactor, you could set that up where it doesn't feel so unnatural.
This is the episode that I kind of sat back and was like, wow, Skeleton Crew needs to be 3 seasons, because if every one of these episodes had been 20, 30 minutes longer, or they'd spent more time with this kind of stuff, then this could have actually been something.
Yeah.
But this felt this feels like this episode could have been an entire movie with all the stuff that happened, and they shorted it down to like 20-something minutes. But you lose a lot of the context. You lose the character development, the attachment I have to these characters, and it's just like, okay, well, stuff happened because you told me it happened, and then we move on to the next one.
I don't care enough to.
I agree completely, because I wrote here the pacing is breakneck.
Yeah.
The unbelievable moments are immersion ruining. It's a disservice to the slower and easy pace that the series was doing before. Because like once we hit episode 6, like things go into breakneck speed. And I don't think we need 3 seasons,
Well,
though that still works.
yeah.
12 episodes would have been fantastic.
At least that's like start
or
lengthening it out. Yeah.
longer seasons. Okay, so initially I wrote 4, but that was, and then I considered it and I rewatched it, and I noticed a lot of the emotional scenes and the messages were working. It's just the unbelievability was kind of breaking it for me. So that 4 up to 6. Well, what did you guys think?
4 for me because I did like some of the development with the kids and stuff. I was like, yeah, that would have been cool, but you should have done it sooner.
Yeah.
Everything else is just like, like I said, and it's like, wait, what just happened? I had to rewind it. I was like, oh, okay, we're just all right. Everything's getting done real quick.
Fast.
Whatever.
Episode 7.
4.
Episode 7, we're going to be in so much trouble. And so this one I like because the villains aren't as slapstick as they were in the Goonies.
Yeah.
The family is just a little over. Jod gets serious here, and I like this darkness.
Mama Fratelli's going to shoot a kid. How dare you?
Yeah.
He killed a
Probably
man.
missed.
They're going to put Chunk's hand in a blender.
Yeah. At least not Jod. Some of the pirates are a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Jod, I liked that he had this hard edge, and he revealed who he truly was here. So I give it high marks for that. But the episode starts with the parents making this communicator, and they get stunned by one. They're not heroes. They're, relay passing to each other. But the director does manage to get the message out there and achieved. And I thought this message was going to be way more impactful, calling for help, but it's just a message to their kids to come home. It's like, all right. It's so we can have the moment later on the episode where the pirates are watching it and stuff, but
Yeah.
and the kids are seeing it. But, Fern is having fun while Wim is having a fit, that he's upset that everything's going to go back to the way it was, and, the adventure's coming to an end. But the pirate ship shows up. And Atten looks toxic, and it looks cool. And Jod is like, this is a trick. And then so they get the volunteer to fly in. The guy that was going to have the farm when he retired, he blew
3
up.
days
Talk
from
about
retirement.
retirement. You can't do that. It's no.
Yeah, and I like the CGI here. I like the situation. I think it's very creative, and I enjoyed it. Then the kids fly in that moment. Just at that moment, the kids fly in, and Jod was about
Right next
to be
to
airlocked.
each other, too. I was like,
Right next to each other.
oh, would
Nice.
you look at that?
That way, he's like, it's the kids' ship, so he doesn't get airlocked, and that's the key. The key is the kid's ship, and so then
They sucked them in.
yeah, and so they sucked him in, and then they did that, and then the wolf guy Brutus, he gets grabbed by the little arm thing, and Jod uses this opportunity to fucking just kill him, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, is he still alive? No, that motherfucker's dead.
He did.
Because previously he had a good speech going on. He's like, he's sounding pretty good to the crew. He's
Yeah.
like, aren't you tired of scraps and this and that? And he's like,
yeah.
I still got my time. Let me talk and all this stuff. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they were doing the plasma
Yeah,
timer. It's the pirate's code and stuff. But when he shoots Brutus, like, he scares the kids. Like, everybody jumps back up.
Yeah, it's like you forget. Yeah, he's a pirate.
Yeah. And then Jod, gives his speech, and he takes over the pirates, and they are following him now. But Jod's got the helmet again while he, is
Giving orders and then taking over the ship.
Mm-hmm. And then they find this whole Republic emissary thing, and
Fern convinces Smee when they all get on the
Yeah.
ship. Fern,
the kids attack him. They're just randomly. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
But then after says, Wim's like, this isn't fair, and then he covers his mouth before he is able to do the challenge.
Claim something.
Yeah, and Smee says a captain can only claim one ship by the pirate code. And so Wim tries to call claimsies, but Jod does it first as he covers his mouth. And then I think it's Fern, the captain, she goes, well, I call unclaimsies and claim it for kids only. And then I love how Jod was like, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. He just gets punched the fuck out. I love this moment, and Smee is just like, close enough, because he likes the kids more than he likes Jod, and I like that. And so, yeah.
They think they leave him, but he's
Yeah.
still in the ship.
Yeah,
They just kind of
fly
throw
off.
them on the ship, and they don't watch them, and then
That makes sense.
They send fighters after them, but they blow up in the defense barrier, and it destroys any ships that aren't of its particular type. And
That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Be nice for the Republic to have that like all over the goddamn place. Shame we only use that one time in this one thing. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to think about things,
Yeah,
Alex.
I know.
Jod is still on the ship. You should care. And he cuts me with a saber and cuts his head off. And he is ultimately the final baddie. He yells at the kids to get down. And why would the kids and KB tell him anything at this point, that is jamming and it's on autopilot? But, I get they're kids. They were on an adventure together. They did kind of trust him at one point, and they still, somewhat are close to him, but he betrayed them. But the kids are acting like kids, and he says, "You are the worst one." Wham.
That resonated with me. I was
I was thinking of Alex.
Yeah.
I was thinking of me. You're the worst one. And he's right. No, he's not. He's the most idealistic of it. But it doesn't erase the nice little speech that he gave to Wim one time. And so he does have some goodness left in him.
Yeah.
And it's a very Star Wars thing. And so I assumed that a redemption arc was coming. And I'm glad that it didn't come because, it would have been too rushed and too quick. But anyways, he threatens to carve up their parents. And the ship is pretty cool. I do like the ship. When it lands, you get the clamps on it. I'm like, well, there's no way they're fucking leaving. And so the robots take him to the vault as he lies that he's the emissary they've been waiting for. And there is 1,139 vaults. Mm-hmm. And they are all filled. And it's an Easter egg because, and they go to cell 11138. And that's THX 1138 from... George Lucas's film. And so I was just like, why that number? Well, one more than TX 1138. But the parents are reunited with the children, and Jod ignites the lightsaber, kind of scaring the kids into shutting the fuck up and keeping this whole emissary, deception a thing. And they're like, we're going to meet the supervisor. And he'll likely have all the answers. And I wrote here, is Jod redeemable? This episode started with that kind of bad logic and pacing of the previous, but eventually, around the time that the frigate showed up to Atten, and it stops that slide, and it gets good again. And I was really enjoying it, especially towards the end with Smee and with Jod and with the saber.
This is where he gets a little bit of his backstory too, right?
No, that's in the final episode.
One. I think
is
is
it the final one?
when he
I thought it was during the ship.
Nah, he's just cruel, and this is him being honest. This is him not pretending, and he's just like, I'm sick of you just always talking and always just shut up. He's just pissed. But it's because of his frustration, and it's like a survivalist just scratching at things, and you kind of hoping that Jod will do the right thing in the end, but he doesn't. So 8 out of 10 for this one.
I'll give this one a 6.
7 for me.
All right, final episode, The Real Good Guys. Real good ending. I liked it. Again, we know nobody's going to die. We know the parents aren't going to die. The kids aren't going to die. So the tension wasn't really there, but I was still interested in how it was going to end. And I knew...
Neil killed the guy.
Yeah.
I knew the supervisor was going to be a robot.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that coming. And that doesn't take away from the show from me, but it was just very telegraphed. And I saw that he was a droid in control of everything. Especially it was Jod. It's like, oh, finally, a real person I can talk to, not a droid. I was like, that's a droid. And I'm kind of confused. I'm not even sure if Atten is even known by the New Republic. I don't think so, right? They just lost all records and they assumed it was gone. It's just kind of stupid of the New Republic to not go through the records, and I just don't understand that connection. But anyways, I wish there was more towards the end too of the New Republic talking to the Old Republic and kind of figuring out that bullshit. But anyways, I thought that they were gonna do more with the captain. That guy that they kept in shadow in the previous vlogs and stuff, but maybe he was going to be the supervisor, or he was the real emissary. I don't know, and he decided to go bad, but they never did anything with the real captain of the Onyx, whatever. And I thought, okay. But we do get Jod's backstory. He was not in the Jedi Order, but instead he was found after Order 66 by a Jedi who trained him. And she was ultimately killed, and he had to watch it, and, it traumatized him, and he just reaffirmed that we're just surviving in this galaxy. We have to do whatever we have to do for ourselves. So he took all the wrong lessons, and also got a few of the lessons on how to harness the Force. He's Force sensitive. So yeah, but
He had some potential.
this is when I was like, my favorite character is Jod. And he's not redeemed. He stays a villain. And Wim does reach out to him at the very end when his plan fails, and he sees his pirate ship exploding, and Wim's like, Jod, but I guess he just doesn't. He just stays in the tower, and he's just defeated. And his face, maybe he's having second thoughts about how he's gone about things, maybe. But I like that it's open-ended, and he's out there in the galaxy somewhere. And I'm more excited about if I do want to see him again, something like him rather than JD. What's the guy who's Benicio del Toro's character in Star Wars?
Oh, Roger Rabbit guy with his little lisp thing. He was
The
terrible.
code breaker guy you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He's still
that.
out there in the Star Wars galaxy. It's like, no, I don't want to see him back. Fuck him. Who cares? But Jod, I'm more interested in. I have more connection to Jod than I do to JD, or I don't know what his character's name was. It's really bad. Anyways, Smee is still alive, thankfully, and he helps KB by flying the ship up. They do this plan. So the kids put together a plan. Yet another reason and towards the end, the kids each individually have their own assignment, and they do heroic things. So KB is really good with electronics and messages, and so she's doing the ship.
Neil probably killed some pirates.
Oh, he did.
fires some turbo lasers at their
At
ship,
the
and it was
ship.
like, whoa.
It does break through.
Neil, you killed a guy, or several
And
guys.
Neil is a smart enough kid to know he's going to receive return
Yeah.
fire.
He
And
takes
he
off
gets
running.
out.
That's why Neil's the third best character.
Right.
Explosion.
Yeah.
I did like Neil. And even Wim gets stuff, but his dad mostly helps him. His dad is like, has his own moment. I did like his dad kind of, he's kind of a coward and a Wendell, I think is his name, but he joins the kids on their kind of adventure, and he opens it. He's like, woohoo, having fun. He's like, well, I'm a systems level 7 analyst.
punch
I
this
can
guy in
do
the face.
thing. But eventually gets so mad he punches the dude in the face. I liked it. Anyways, Jod's over here threatening everyone with the saber. He's like saber in your face here and there. But I think deep down he didn't really want to kill anybody, because he could have killed the kids many times over. He could have just taken. He's not pure evil, like just take his revenge out on the kids, when his plan was like he just lets them go.
Yeah, he
Master
doesn't.
Skywalker.
He doesn't really try very hard to stop him from doing anything either.
do we do?
And the adults eventually find the will to blow their barrier as the kids make them realize that they just have to stand
do
up.
it, yeah.
They have to do something, and
They need the
So it's
communications to be set out, so we have to turn it off, and the X-Wings need to be brought in.
well, KB's plan worked. She got the message out to Kim to bring the X-Wing TIE fighters. She transmits the coordinates, but then she crashes, and it looks like she destroys. You see like some. You don't see a huge explosion, but you do see a pile of dust kick up, and all the kids think she's dead. Even Jod is like, see what you did. And it's a sad moment, but we know that she's not really dead.
Yeah.
And the plan where they needed to get power back to release the ship by Wim and his dad. Wim just comes in and he does what he does best. Stories and imagination. And he was like, oh, yeah, well, I found the crystal of the gods, Antioch, or I don't know what he was saying. Something like that. And I don't think Jod buys it, but he's like, because he spent so much time with Wim, he lets him finish, and he's like, really?
Yes.
Like, that's the stupidest thing. That
God,
doesn't make
Wim, you
sense.
suck. You're so stupid.
And then, but Wim, all he needed was a few moments to distract him.
Yeah, for
and
his dad to
and his
turn it
dad
on.
manages to do it. So it worked. So Wim, in his own stupid way, did his stuff.
he played to his strengths.
Me Meanwhile, then this is a real action-heavy episode. I liked it because then after the ship comes down through the clouds, it just starts firing and terrorizing all the
breaking through the homes and stuff.
Breaking in the homes, capturing them so they can have a kidnap and hostages and stuff. And then the X-Wings show up. They even bring some B-Wings, which I thought was really fucking cool. The B-Wings are firing their composite laser beams.
Yeah.
And that is actually, that's something I thought we never, I don't think we've ever seen it in Star Wars, but we've seen it in Rebels, like live-action Star Wars. We saw it in Rebels, which I think it was like a prototype ability of the B-Wings, because they don't normally do that, at least not the original B-Wings, so it was like a prototype. So it's kind of cool, like an Easter egg for Rebels to see that, the prototypes are now in full production, because I think there was 2 of them that was doing the composite beams. So awesome, great stuff. Of course, the pirates, they can't fight the New Republic, get their asses kicked. And I was... It's kind of weird how they handle death and destruction, and because you got parents and cheering and stuff, and the pirates don't like immediately start gunning people down because it's like, well, fuck this on our way out.
No one
they
dies.
Don't do it. The fat lady gets all her pirates on the things, and when they take off, and then the X-Wings just start fucking firing at them. And I'm like, man, are they gonna murder these pirates? She does look familiar.
Wasn't she in Marvels?
Was she the one?
Oh yeah,
Ragnarok?
Grandmaster or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you might be right.
I think she looks like it.
Yeah, interesting. Good memory. Okay, but anyways, it is revealed that the great work is them just making money, man, and then when they get cut off from the Republic, they just keep making money because he's just programmed to keep doing it, just to have it. It's like a corporation. It's just what they do, and they hoard it. And so 1,000 vaults filled with this stuff. And my God, now the New Republic is way richer. Like, this would be a big effect on the universe going forward.
No, you have to immediately, nope, we're a sovereign nation, and you get yourself a dumbass bumper sticker saying you can't pull me over because we're a sovereign planet. This money is mine.
Yeah, so the old Republic doesn't exist anymore. This is our money.
Yeah.
New Republic can't have this money. No, that's not
New
gonna
Republic,
happen.
who dis?
I just liked it. The pirate ship coming through the clouds. Such a cool scene, like an alien ship in suburbia. And I like the bikes. The kids get on their bikes because I love bikes. When you're a kid and you're on your bike, you feel like the best. And so they incorporate.
It's like having a car. You can go anywhere you
Well,
want.
you don't have a car yet.
No.
But that's the best you can do when you have a car.
Equivalent to it.
That's when, and it's a shame. I don't know if kids still, use bikes as much as we did, because that's how we got into trouble. We go everywhere.
Yeah,
We go in the forest. We go everywhere. Yeah. And I rarely see kids on bikes anymore. We were just on our bikes everywhere. Anyways, and then, the barrier comes down and everyone's in awe of the stars, and it's very symbolic. It's like, now you're sheltered life. Yeah, you were kind of protected from the outside world, but now you're opened up to new possibilities. And while there's...
They can put it back up.
Yeah.
You're open to danger, but now you're opened up to so much more. And like I said, I hope we see Jod again. Oh, I gotta mention, KB's still alive, and she actually landed. She's like, "That one of my best landings," and all the gold falls out, and she rolls out, and she's alive. They all embrace. They have a fun, a happy time together, and that's when Wim looks up at the X-Wings, and I loved it, and I think it's good. It's a good little special corner of the Star Wars universe, and I would recommend it to people to watch. And I know you didn't watch it. And nobody's watching this video because nobody's going to watch a review of a show that nobody cares about. But now it is one of my favorite Disney Plus series that they have made for Star Wars, or towards the top of the list. 8 out of 10 for this final one. What would you say?
Yeah, I'll give this one an 8. I like the action. Good, yeah.
Okay.
Action really brought it up.
7, only because there could be no tension in it, but I do love any scene with Jod in it was great, but yeah, the complete lack of tension.
Yeah, Jude Law decision. Whoever made that decision saved the series, because that he definitely is fascinating to watch and holds it up. Well, that's going to be it, at least for a while, because we don't know the release date of Ahsoka Season 2. I wonder if we know the Season 2 Andor release date. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm not
April 22nd, 2025. So,
Wow.
that is the next thing. So we've got a long ways to wait. You want to cancel your Disney Plus subscription? Go ahead and do it because there's nothing for 3 months there. You can save a bit of money, but April 22nd, and it's gonna do the weekly episode drop. They're not gonna put all episodes up.
No.
They got to string along those Disney Plus subscribers since it's not doing very well. Netflix is just crushing everyone in the streaming wars. I wonder how long this can go on. So we'll have to see. All right. And especially in the Star Wars universe, how long is Disney gonna fuck around with things until they get so desperate that they go into the Old Republic before they're ready to do the Old Republic? I'm so scared.
They fuck it up.
Well, I mean, Marvel's not doing well either. So it's like they're in a downward spiral with all of their IPs, and so whoever who's constantly been at the helm, like, probably should.
Yeah, I'm not excited for nothing in the Marvel movies. The only thing I could do Daredevil. That's the one that I'm looking forward to. But other than that,
DC.
Blade would be cool, but that's never
I'm
getting
excited
made.
for DC.
It's time to
Thank
take
you
the
for
crown.
saying, Joe. It's time for DC to take the crown, even though we're getting our asses kicked in video games. Marvel Rivals is amazing. Is there DC Rivals? No. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League is what we get. Fuck. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.